Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And today, I'm going to be featuring a carrier that is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the American steel carrier that you can get obviously for steel. Now, I want to showcase you this gameplay because, well, I'm specifically would like to feature or I would explain some of the strengths that FDR still has in 2025, because a lot of players do think that FDR is not that strong what it used to be. Well, at least personally I would disagree with that, simply because the plane's tankiness that currently it has no other carrier has like that tankiness in the game, period. I mean, you already can able to see it has 54,000 HP on this full squadron with these 14 planes. This is something that you will never going to get on any other carrier. And the fact is that I'm not able to bypass the Des Moines and the Napoli AA. I also able to bypass the Yamato's AA to get a full strike on this poor Yamato, getting 6 bomb hits out of 8. And that's another strength of the RDR. Like, 2 of the planes have so much alpha on the strike on these bombs, I would say, that it still makes it extremely unique, unlike anything in the game, and also very, very oppressive and very, very fearsome, because then you will be able to get another strike with pretty much similar alpha strike that I'd done before. Like, you will send 8 bombs again, and this will do even more absurd damage, right? Unfortunately enough, I didn't manage to get a fire again, which is kind of weird, because, I mean, you have a 60% fire chance in a single bomb. And if I would just simply imagine it like Thunderer guns, right? Thunder guns having 64% fire chance. Just having a comparison with the battleship guns, okay? If you get 8 bomb hits and you get 8 shell hits like Thunder, it's kind of like similar, right? I mean, Thunder have 64% fire chance, so you are dropping battleship level of fire chance bombs. It's kind of like having better HE alpha than the Thunder, you know, I would say guns. Like, it's definitely way better. Like, Thunder has 8.2k alpha, which is some of the highest in this game for 457mm guns. But FDR with these bombs having 10.6k damage in a single bomb with 60% fire chance, and you're dropping 8 bombs consistently on a poor target on a poor battleship. You can only imagine the insanity that it comes up with, right? And this is something that only FDR can able to pull off, even still today, with even a lot of AA that it can bypass. On the other hand, I want to showcase you another feature of the FDR, which is going to be the torpedo bombers. Torpedo bombers are the star of the show FDR. I think this is something that really makes FDR pretty busted. As you can see what I have done to the Des Moines. I come across the island, get to the Des Moines broadside, turn the torpedoes with 180-degree turn, not 360. It's actually almost 360-degree turn that I did against the Des Moines, and I dealt, I think, 18k damage on that poor guy with a flood, and I think I got an incapacitation. Yeah, and this is something that we are talking about. And you can do like at least theoretically 4 strikes. Theoretically 4 strikes again on Des Moines. Although practically you might get 2 strikes, no problem whatsoever. That is really powerful. And a single isolated battleship is gonna be having the worst time against FDR because of simply this massive squadron that it has. I mean, in total, like the torpedo bombers, as you can see here, what I did on the Libertad, I think I have done like 20.1k damage. Oh, sorry, yeah, 21k damage, 20.1k damage, something like that. So that Libertad is also in trouble because he's in isolation, and that's where the FDR torpedo bombers, 8 of them, it's having the 3rd best alpha damage in the game. Like, it's only slightly worse than Nakimov, and yeah, even it has better alpha strike than Midway. And I mean, as you can see here, that Libertad is showing the broadside again against these 8 torps, and he will eventually gonna get a massive hit. Like, look at that, 21.6k, and I got 2 strikes that have definitely dealt 40k damage on this guy. So you can already see that where this guy is gonna go. Definitely into the board for sure, because the way I'm dropping him many times. and I still have a single strike. Remember, this full squadron that I used, I have dropped 1 time on Des Moines and 2 times on the Libertad. This is the insanity that these planes have because of the survivability no one has in the game, period. And many people still say that it's not really good. I don't agree with that. I mean, FDR is simply too strong even today's standards. Maybe you can compare it with Shinano, but Shinano has different set of gimmicks and tools to deal with some targets. I mean, FDR has different tools, and I would say in terms of the easiness, in terms of the dropping speciality, or I would say dropping ways, I think FDR is a lot gonna be easier. Like FDR, you don't need to really think of the AP bombs, penetration, and the aim, where to hit them at. In the case of HE bombs, it's just you have to just go and simply drop onto the top of the superstructure or onto the deck armor, and that will just result huge damage because they will never going to get overpens. HE bombs will never gonna get overpen, right? But on the other hand, you will at least maybe get shatters on, for example, the deck armor like 80mm that you find on the, I would say, Pommern or Frederick de Grosse. They have some 80mm armor plating. FDR only has 63mm HE penetration, which unfortunately Richthofen only has 50mm, so you can easily able to get a bomb drop on this poor Richthofen, and you can just deal massive damage. As you can see here, 8 bomb hits, 23 point something K damage, and that poor Richthofen has nothing to do. Like, he cannot do anything about the FDR. Again, something that really makes FDR really powerful. Now, even if the fighter planes of the Richthofen shoot down 4 planes, I still have 1 strike to do, right? Which is kind of absurd, right? It's really busted. That poor guy, even if you use fighters, it's gonna be useless because the single strike. At single strike, if you use the fighters, it's just not gonna work for him because the fighters will never gonna tag against the last, attack plane. It's something that also FDR gets huge advantage. I mean, if you have a last strike, last attack flight of FDR, and if you drop them against carrier, the carrier fighter planes are simply not gonna be tagging with them because, well, they just don't work against the planes that have dropped their payload. Another thing that just makes FDR pretty good against CVs in terms of CV sniping, that you just have a single attack flight, the last attack flight, and you just go against the carrier, and the carriers will not gonna be losing, or at least a carrier will not be able to shoot down these planes, these last attack flight planes, with their fighters. It's not possible. So that's also something that FDR is. And moreover, since you are something in the game that is so tanky, like a flying fortress, it's literally like a flying castle or flying fortress, and you have so many planes, and you hover around the targets for so long, that the spotting damage is right now more than my current damage. 168k spotting damage versus 151k of my damage. And I have taken so much damage, or at least 4 of my planes shot down against the enemy fighters of the Yamato, and I still have almost a half squadron. So that's the power of FDR that I think no one has in the game. Like, sure, FDR planes are very, very important in general. Like, it's not a good idea to just lose a whole lot of planes from fighters, because then you will actually start to see that your planes on deck will be ultimately going to get reduced. Like, you have 23 planes on deck on the torpedo bombers and bombers respectively, right? So if you lose, I would say, a lot of planes over time with fighters, then eventually, because of the slow aircraft preparation time of over 2 minutes for both of these squadrons, torpedo bombers and bombers, then it's gonna be difficult to have a lot of planes on deck. Like right now, I have not a whole lot of torpedo bombers left on the deck. As you can see, only 2 of them. So you can start to see that because I have lost quite a bit from the fighters, and hence the reason why I don't have extra planes on deck. Like you can see here, I have only 2 planes in the torpedo bomb squad, or I would say torpedo bomb stack. So this is something that you have to understand against fighters. You can get away with at least 1 or 2 fighters, but more than that would be not a good thing. But again, I thought of the calculation to be okay. I thought that I won't be getting deplaned that much, and sometimes you can sacrifice some of your planes, because I want to just drop on the CV and drop on the Yamato because they are on low HP. So that risk was worth it. Again, totally up to you. Now in this case, I'm dropping on this Holland. Now, the FDR is not good against CVs, right? I completely agree with that. Like, the FDR is one of the carriers that is gonna be actually very weak against destroyers. Why? Now, the reason why is pretty simple. FDR bombs have insane delay on the bombs that when you drop. When you drop the bombs, it's having such a delay that it will take a lot of time to practice and aim on the destroyers, and destroyers are a very small profile and small hull in general, right? And this reticle is still kind of big, and then you have to wait for almost 5 seconds to get a good drop on the bombs on a DD. But with the practice and experience, just like as you can see here, I managed to kill a defensive fire AA Holland. Experience is the most important thing in FDR. If you have the experience, you will be able to do so much good in FDR. Now you can see here, I don't have much planes right now. I have lost so many planes because of the fighter planes that I have tagged with the Yamato, with the carriers a couple of times, that now I'm almost deplaned in the torpedo bombers. But again, here comes another strength of FDR. Your planes are, I mean, even the 4 planes are still having enough HP that you can kinda compare it with Richthofen planes. 4 torpedo bombers of FDR having an equivalent HP of that of Richthofen's 9 planes. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm right. I'm right about that. 100% almost. That, I mean, they are so tanky, right? And even then, it's going to be very difficult to shoot down these 4 planes by a Des Moines. And since I did get a flood by just maneuvering against Des Moines, getting a permanent fire is possible. But again, the way I'm maneuvering, the way I'm dropping, it's something that you have to practice again, right? It's not easy. A maneuvering cruiser like this is going to be difficult to fight in FDR. But as you can see, that I have dealt pretty substantial damage to this poor Des Moines. That Des Moines has like more than 30k damage. Oh, sorry, 30k HP. And now he's down to almost nothing, having more than 10k HP with the heal right now. So yeah, and in 7 minutes remaining, you have 230k damage with 180k spotting damage because you just hover around the planes. Oh, sorry, hover around the enemy team constantly. It's just that you rack up so much spotting damage over time, and I don't think so there is any carrier that can do that except the FDR, at least with his own squadron. You can argue that the fighters that Malta has, the Shinano has, they can just spot for themselves with the fighters if they pop outside 5.8 kilometer of the cruisers long range aura. Completely agree with that. But again, FDR is something that does not need to use the fighters to spot for the ships, because he has so much HP on the planes that you can just hover around for days, and FDR's planes will still be spotting those poor cruisers or battleships by his own squadron. Again, there's a difference between your own squadron spotting and the fighters, the patrol fighter spotting, okay? So that is huge, right? And this Des Moines doing a big mistake, bowing into the FDR bombs, something that you should not do, and ultimately dying by another strike that I have done on that guy. And as you can see, this game is close. The La Pampa is in the cap. The Shimakaze and Yamato are getting towards the enemy team cap, or I would say enemy cap. And their enemy CV that I was dropping before still survived, okay? So the game is not over. The La Pampa is still there. It's gonna be close, right? 244k damage. I have a substantial advantage against Richthofen simply because the bombs will simply going to penetrate onto the deck, and the torpedo bombers also having insane alpha that I think in technically three strikes, I can or at least theoretically 3 strikes, I can able to kill Richthofen with FDR planes. You get a full 8 bomb hits on the Richthofen, full 8 bomb hits, unsaturated, that can potentially deal 24k damage, 23k damage, and then you just drop with torpedo bombers 2 times with 8 bomb hits, both of the time when you drop. It will result of Richthofen HP to be gone, most likely. Now, since the Richthofen now has pretty much, I would say, saturated hull, and if I miss some of the bombs, as you can see here, I got all bomb hits, and saturation does kicked in. That result in half of the damage that you can do when, I mean, if it is unsaturated, I would have killed him, but since it's saturated hull, I still have to wait to do another strike, okay? And I saw that the La Pampa is in the smoke. Out of the smoke, I know it's gonna be very close. He is almost there to complete the cap. Our team is trying really hard to come back to our cap and do something, but again, an experienced CV player will just simply able to do something about it. And I spot the La Pampa, and at least even if the bomb hits does not happen, as you can see here, La Pampa does the right thing. The bomb splash damage is so good in FDR that I got a reset. So reset happens, and I finally decided that I can push against the La Pampa, and will try to take on this guy with torpedo bombers or bombers, whatever way possible, because again, it's not good against destroyers, but I still have to do something about it. The Shimakaze, I think he started to shoot the guns on the La Pampa, and he might die along the way, I fear. It's not gonna be good, I guess. So, as you can see here, the Shimakaze is just throwing his ship completely, losing his entire HP, but at least he got a reset. And I'm not sure if the La Pampa having smokes or not. I do believe that he does not have. So, this is something that is sort of giving me an advantage, but again, look at the maneuvering of the torpedo bomber that I'm doing, right? I'm just trying to maneuver the torpedo bombers, but La Pampa is somewhat a decent player. He knows that I have to outmaneuver the torpedoes that he is trying to do in return. And funny enough, I still managed to get a single torpedo hit. I think he was trying hard, very hard to dodge, but it just didn't happen with him. Again, I need to kill him, right? Because we don't have much time. But look at the drop that I will do. Now I think I might catch him. Nah, I didn't catch him. I just get a defender ribbon. Now I don't have bombs, nor the torpedo bombers. Like I've used all the planes losses with the enemy fighters, and which is kind of a big weakness of the FDR. As you can see, I still have some bombs into the squadron, which is gonna be helping me a bit, and I might be managing to get some bomb hits. Hopefully, with this drop, I would be able to kill the La Pampa, but that didn't happen. I got a bomb hit, and I think the Yamato should be able to kill him, which is the benefit that I get when if I'm a good player. I'm not sure if the Yamato has done something good or not, or should I say that he's a good player or not, but at least he killed the La Pampa. And seriously, I saw the Yamato's HP. Okay, he's a really bad player. He's not a good player, man. I don't think so. A Yamato with full HP means that he has done pretty much nothing in the game. I could be wrong, but I don't like this sort of Yamato with HP left after 19 minutes into the game. It's just so absurd. But anyways, as you can see, it's almost time. I have got 3 kills, and I have explained quite a bit of strengths and weaknesses of FDR, but you can still see that FDR has insane strength still. Like, I still be able to pull off the game, right? And Yamato somehow managed to kill the Richthofen at the end. Unfortunately, he also killed the La Pampa. That has missed me a Kraken. But at least this is the power of FDR, which I want to showcase you in this game. And the game is finally the game finally ends. Okay, if I showcase you the team score, which I will show you later, I will showcase you the results. 263k damage, 46 torp hits. Combat Scout, very, very easy on FDR, to be honest. Not even funny. It's pretty bad. It's broken, at least with the planes tankiness of FDR. High Caliber, Confederate. Confederate would have given me the Halsey skill, or I would say Halsey's proc of 20% plane, restoration time, whatever you call it. That would have helped to get some of the planes back, but again, you still have planes, right? These are so tanky at the late stages of the game that I don't think so that I need the Confederate for the Halsey proc. But on the other hand, as you can see here, it was a hard carry. The Hildebrand did really played well with 2.79 base XP, but 2.6k base XP on an FDR shows that how powerful this carrier is. Dealing not against Holland with defensive fire, I also dealt with, I would say, the La Pampa, the Des Moines, or I would say Libertad. There are so many ships that I have dealt with. Like at least in total, I have dealt myself with 6 ships, which I will showcase you in the detailed report. Des Moines, Yamato, Holland, Libertad, Richthofen, La Pampa, all 6 ships that I have dealt with, and hopefully this will definitely going to show you guys that how really FDR, like even in today's standards, is good, or the strengths that it has are still makes it worth it for steel. This is the gameplay that you can see.